Yeah, so there are probably lots of words that I would like to see. Um, there aren't too many words that are about joy, optimism, love, courage, passion. Like they're the words that get written into I suppose important documents and policies and everything, but we don't use those words. And actually, social care is like joyful. It's supporting people to live their best lives, right? What better job could you have than that? Being optimistic about someone's future, about the work that you do to support someone overcoming a bump in the road that they might have had around their mental health. And like those everyday things that I think certainly professionals have become less used to using everyday language. When we get back to that, I think it just creates like a shared humanity and a shared space. Yeah.
We never hear about, for me, 3 words: love, joy, and hope. To me, that's what potential, good care and support should give you. Love. It should connect me. It should hold me. That's what love feels like for me. And joy, I don't think it's a word that we use in social care or health. Joy. People think I'm off me rocker when I say, I would like some joy in my life. We've got a system, a process using care and support plans. For me, how do we embed love, joy, and hope in care and support plans? That, to me, that's what my mum, before she passed, that is all the time the words she said to us. People get uncomfortable with those 3 words, and I'd love to know why.
One springs straight to mind, and that's love. I know it don't work for everybody, but I think most family members and family and friends of people who do provide support, we might use the term unpaid carers, might we? I think that's a little bit cold, personally. And more places seem to be a bit more comfortable about unpaid carers providing care and support for their loved ones, but that can get a bit sanitized. I think we're not always keen to use that word love in I don't love in our everyday work, which would help us be a bit more human, I think, about the way in which we go about talking to each other. It's such an important aspect of our human nature, isn't it? We all need love, and so why wouldn't we recognise it in this sort of very human world of work that we are in?
Now, for me, like care is all about love, but we would never use love in social care because it would be really frowned upon. It would be seen as inappropriate, but it is all about love and positive regard and kind of relationship. And I'd love us to get to like softer, gentler language that really is human, rather than needing to use like wonky language that creates, I suppose, a power dynamic that doesn't work well for people or systems.
We've got well-being as a core element of the Care Act, so that's we should be moving into that space. And what I mean, for me, it would be using the language of enhance community well-being, or fostering a more responsive support system that it upholds me and uplifts me to be the author of my own destiny. That, to me, is really hopeful.
I just would like people to use more our names. Stop referring to us as case number or our initials. We are humans, And I think if that was used more, people would remember that.
The words that I would say need to be used more are people's aims. And I know a lot of this language has been using identified words and labels, and that already exist. But for me, it's just if people who don't need support don't associate themselves with certain words, then why do people who have support, why are we enforced in a world where we have to use these words?
It's us rather than us and them. I think we all know what we're talking about. We don't need definitions, you know, the less kind of jargon and code, the clearer communication and decision making will be. I think if we take away the them and us, and we take away the othering of people, if we take away I feel really, really strongly. I'm doing a piece of work at the moment thinking about when I get old, and I feel really strongly in that space and in every other space. This is all of us, you know, all of us and the people we care about and the people we love, all of us, you know. And I think the more we have a language that is them and us rather than all of us, the more of a pickle we'll get ourselves in, you know, because suddenly we become them. And then we're like, oh, hey, how did I get here? Like, you know, so I think there's something about ordinary, everyday human language is us, you know, and jargony, labeling-y, coded, euphemism-y language is us and them, you know, and I don't ever think there should be an us and them.
So for me, like one of the words, and it's a very simple word, rather than I, we, and I love it. And I've noticed people really talking about we will work together on this, or rather than doing two people, working alongside people to have good lives is really important. And there's something like really empowering, supportive around like seeing yourself as part of the solution, as part of the relationship. So it's not big words for me, it's like those simple things. You know, often I can be in spaces where people will talk about them, they, and actually what you mean is, they're the people we support aren't them or they, you know, they're not faceless, nameless people. How we use we, how we see social care as, you know, it's one person doing to another person, it's actually about a mutually beneficial relationship.
Let's all get a bit natural, a bit more normal about the way in which we talk and describe things. Just talking to people about what's important to you, you know, what sorts of things did you used to be able to do that you can't now do, you know, just those simple tools, you know, what's working for you and not working for you. What does a good day look like? I think that's just a brilliant one, you know. What's a good day look like? What's a bad day look like? And a good week and a bad week. Those fairly straightforward person-centered thinking tools, they're actually very powerful, and they use natural language. Let's use those simple, I think, those more simple, straightforward techniques, everyday words.
I feel that I get on better with people if they use words that they'd use at home or they'd use when they're not at work. I feel I can link with them better and form a better working relationship than when they use their jargon, their acronyms, their complex words, and words that you just wouldn't normally hear find it easier not to have to learn their language. I don't want to know their work language, their work words. I want to know a bit more about them, what they like, equally while they're learning what I like, so that we can kind of be just chatting confidently and freely, rather than constantly having to think, now what's their work word again? Which work word do I need to use to get something that I need? I don't want to be having to think about that. So I just find that it's a lot easier if we can just talk, and talk normal talk rather than work words.
I'm a person as much as anybody else, and I live my ordinary life as much as anybody else. So I just want a world to be able to recognize that, and to not place me under situations where my life is separated into compartments or services or aspects that then doesn't identify with who I am as a person.